So since releasing a couple of videos on Woolementor recently, one to do with the checkout and one just sort of, just talking about the plugin itself, I've had a lot of comments about how people want to know more about it. People want to see a full build on it, which is coming quite soon. Today, what I thought I would do is two things. Give a sort of comparison between the free version of Woolementor and the pro version. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a kind of like a first impression. Even though I've looked at some aspects of this, I've really only just looked at the things that I've covered, which, like I say, to do with the checkout process and so on. So today, this is a kind of reaction video, shall we say, to some of the tools that are available, so we can kind of have a first look together and see the differences between the free version and the pro version. And you can then let me know in the comment section below if this is a plugin that you think you'd like to A, look at in a bit more detail, and B, whether it's something you would consider purchasing, or if you have purchased it, let me know your comments, questions, and feedback below. I know there's been a couple of negative comments, but there's also been a huge amount of positive. So I would always like to see and get your reactions to any of these tools we use. Let me know if you think they're good or bad. So with that being said, let's just take a quick look now at what we've got available. So I've got the pro version installed, but I don't have the pro version activated just yet. I've disabled all the pro add-ons. So we come back over to the dashboard. If we come into Woolementor and we open that up, you can see all I've got are the free options enabled. Now, I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on this, that it still adds all of the pro widgets in. You just don't necessarily get to use them without upgrading. So if you see more widgets in here than you normally expect with the free version, that could possibly be the reason why. I haven't checked it out, but that might be why. We have a lot of options though. We've got different kinds of layouts, and this is one of those things that I think if you want to rapidly develop a WooCommerce store that doesn't look like everybody else's WooCommerce store, well, not at the moment anyway, you could use something like Woolementor free and get a range of different designs you could use, and then you could use that in conjunction with Elementor Pro's theme builder or just Elementor itself. And you could then create more unique looking websites where you could get a little bit creative with the whole custom layout. And like I said, this is something that you may find is going to be useful. So let's just take a look at some of these options. It's nice to see that we have some of the filter options available, even if we don't have all of them, because this is the free version. You can see we've got single product options, so we can do things like the product title, add to cart, and so on. So if you had some other plugin that you were using to create template files and you wanted to, you didn't have Elementor Pro and you wanted to take advantage of some of those key things like product titles, like the description, like the add to cart button and so on, then this gives you that, even with the free version, you have a ton of different options. Okay, so we can see there are a lot of options, which I can't cover in entire detail today in this video. But let's come over and take a look at a page. So I'm going to come over to the All Pages, and I've already created a sample page that we're going to use for the basis of this particular video, or for this part at least. Since our custom, we're going to edit that with Elementor. And from there, once we've opened that up, we can take a look at what widgets we have available. Now, there's one thing I really wish that you could do with Elementor straight out the box, and that's just close all of these tabs down, and they would stay closed down unless you wanted to open them up, because I find it an absolute nightmare having to close these every time you go to this page. So if you know of a plugin that can do that, or you know of a setting that does it, drop that in the comment section so I can just make my life a little easier without having to open and close these all of the time. Okay, so we've got things broken down into various different sections. Woolementor Shop, Woolementor Filter, the single product. So like I say, these are kind of template files for the individual elements of the single product page. You've then got the pricing tables. You've got related products, which again, you could probably tap into and use those in conjunction with the single post page for all your products. We've got image galleries. You've got the cart option, and we've got cart items, cart overview, and coupon form. And then we've got Woolementor Others. So these are the kind of layouts for various different aspects. So things like the Shop Classic is a layout. So if we drag and drop that onto the page, you can see this gives us a different design to what you'd normally see as part of WooCommerce. We can adjust things like set the columns to between 1 and 6. We can also configure this based upon the device, whether it's a desktop, tablet, or mobile. You can also do things like position the various different elements. And you can see when we go to 6 columns, there are a few glitches in there. And this is one of the things that I think you'll see with this plugin. It's got potential. I think it's still quite early in the development phase, so there are some things that really need to be ironed out. And, you know, when you come to the style section, you can adjust things like the product titles and, you know, the different things like that. So we can change the size on there. So we could adjust the typography, for example, and we can change the size to make sure everything fits. The same with the product price. We could do the same on there. You know, so you can tweak it yourself, but it would be nice to see this, that when you do switch between different sizes, that this, or different column layouts, for example, this would automatically adjust to ensure that there's a certain level of scaling, especially with the icons more than necessarily the fonts that are being used there. Okay, so we can also come in, and one thing I do like about this is that you can create custom queries. You're not restricted to just displaying all the products, for example. So you can enable the custom query, and then we can click, and you can see we have categories, so we can pull in any of the categories. So we might only want to show hoodies. That will show just the hoodies inside a category. You can include products, you can exclude products, you can show only on sale products. We could click, and anything that's on sale then will show inside this. So you could use this to create an on sale section. And you can also set an offset in there. So we set that to 1, for example, it will offset this by one particular product. So what you could do then is you could use a combination of different tools. You could have a hero product at the top, could be the first product in this particular section, for example, and then show all of the other products by using that offset value to not show the same product, the hero product, for a second time. So that's quite cool. We've also got product image. We can control that, so you can turn that on and off if you wanted to. I don't know why you'd want to turn it off, but I'm sure there's use cases where you would. On click, what do you want to happen? You can see we can set that to none, we can set it to zoom, or we can set it to go to the product page. So that's quite nice to see that we can control the way that this is actually interacted with. Sale ribbon, cart, for example, show hide the cart. This is just a little icon, so you could enable or disable that. And the same then goes for the wish list. You can see you can enable or disable that feature. And finally, we have pagination, which obviously if you've got multiple pages of products, you'll want to have some form of pagination, but you can turn that on and off if you want to. And style, well, you know, it's going to allow you to style the various different components. The card, you can see you can control this. You've got the product title, the product price, sale ribbon, card, you know, all those kinds of things. So that's quite cool. So that's one of the designs. Let's just get rid of that. And what we'll do is we'll take a look at another option. So that was the Shop Classic. We've also got Shop Standard. We can drag and drop that in. And you can see that it gives us a different design again. And again, we can control how many columns. You can set this to 1 column, for example, 3 columns, whatever you kind of want to do. And all the same options are there. You know, you can style it, you can configure it, you can adjust it, you can enable and disable various different features. And let's just get rid of that one. And finally, we'll take a look at the Shop Curvy. And we'll drop that in there, and you can see this now is a different design again. So, you know, depending upon what you want to do, you could easily use these as a starting point for the basic layout. Then you could fine tune, tweak, you know, adjust the styling, all those kinds of useful bits of information. Let's just finally get rid of that, and we'll try the shop slider this time, which if you wanted to do, for example, a featured product or something, or a featured range of products, you could use the slider option. And you can see we can control the layout of this, we can control the query of it, the product image, the sale ribbon. Same goes with the styling. We've got all those same kinds of things. We now have the addition of things like navigation, so we can adjust the navigation arrows. You know, so you have a range of different useful design options on there, and I'm sure you could probably find something you like. And I also believe that there's more options available if you are using the Pro version. Now we also have the ability to filter. Now this is the horizontal filter, which is included in the free version. If you want the vertical filter, that's part of the Pro version. But they're going to work in exactly the same way. The only difference is one's vertical, one's horizontal. As you can see, it gives you a pretty standard looking filter set. Your price, your sort, your order. You can search, you can clear all, and you can fine tune and configure this. Your custom form action, the action URL. You know, if you want to enable or disable that, you can do that. And we can just choose what we want to use inside these various different sections. And we've got the price range, for example. So there's a lot of different options inside here that you could then pull in a design like Shop Classic, for example, put that underneath there, and then you could use the filter in conjunction with that design to start filtering, to start searching, adjust the order, for example. You know, we can apply that. Nothing's going to happen because we're just using the test page kind of thing and haven't really configured everything. But, you know, you can build up the look of the page and use those in conjunction with each other to look, you know, create the look of the entire site. So that's quite cool. Now, if you're building your own sort of template side of things, then you also have the Woolementor single product option. So things like your product title, your breadcrumbs and so on, product variations, short description. So you could build up a template design. So you can do things like drag in the product title, for example, and you can see content source is the current product. But you could, if you wanted to, set this to be custom, and then you can search for that particular product, or create a custom product setup. It's one of those things that I think it would be useful if you don't have Elementor Pro, or you want to augment Elementor Pro with maybe some of the tools that you have inside here that might not be present in the Pro version. However, if you have Pro, I can't really see much of a reason to be using these extra options. But I say, not everybody's using Pro, and combining the free version with this and some way of creating the template files could be a good option for people that are working on a budget or have no budget whatsoever. We then have things like pricing tables. We've got the advanced and we've got the basic. If we drag and drop one of those into there, you'll see this just gives us one example, so we could easily just duplicate that a couple of times, and then you could style those independently of each other and make changes to the various different sections, and you've quickly added in, some nice simple options for doing these pricing tables. Really simple. Okay, so that's that. Now, if we take a look underneath, you can see we've got related products. And again, this kind of works in conjunction with creating template files. You'd want to pull in a related product to a specific product you're currently viewing. And as you can see, these are tied into the same design aesthetic that you have when you're using the options for the shop. So you've got your classic, your standard, your curvy, and the same goes down here. So you've got your classic, your standard, and your curvy. So you can make sure you have consistency across the board when you're working with those. Then you've got the Woolementor image gallery. And again, these are to do with single products and things like that. So if we say we wanted a gallery product slider, we'll pull that in, and you can see we can scroll horizontally or vertically, but it's going to pull in the gallery from the current product, or like we saw before, you can do custom selection. So if you wanted to, you could click on custom selection and add your own images in. You might want to create a template for a particular product, custom product, and have specific images, or link it through to related products. You want to have full control of it. You might only have a very small product range, a couple of different products, at which point having, custom templates and things might be a little overkill for what you're trying to achieve. This does give you options, which is quite nice to see. Let's come back out of there and let's just take a look at some of the other things. So you can see these are others, and I think these are basically everything is just lumped in together, to be honest, because it just looks like all the same options. So I'm not really sure why we've got that inside there, why you've duplicated everything, and that might be why I thought to start off with, this is why you had, a lot more options available that might have been the Pro version that weren't activated, but it is a case that they just duplicated everything. So that's a really quick overview of the free version. Let's just now set up and configure all the Pro options and see what else that brings to the table. Now, before we do activate these, let's just take a quick look over what we have. It's going to be easier to do it this way than try to differentiate between the free versions and the Pro versions inside the Elementor page itself. So you've got some extra designs. You can see the shop options. So you've got shop flip, trendy, curvy horizontal, shop accordion, shop table, shop beauty. We've got the vertical and the horizontal filter then if we choose this. Single product, everything is available for the single product in the free version. So that's quite good to see. If you don't have Pro, Elementor Pro, and you still want to be able to create those kind of template layouts, you have that option if you have another plugin that allows you to create templates. Pricing table, we have a few more pricing options in there. It's not something I'm really that interested in, to be honest, more to do with the shop side of things. Then we've got the related products. You can see we've got those extra designs inside the related product option. If we want to view a demo, you get this little eye icon, so we could take a look at what that looks like. The image gallery and the cart are already included, so if you wanted to customize the cart, which I've already done in its own dedicated video, and I'll drop a link to that in the description below, so you can see how easy it is to use the Pro version of this to customize the cart and the checkout process. It's probably one of the best plugins that I found so far to do that side of things. It gives you a lot of granular control as opposed to just adjusting the fonts and so on. You can position this any way you want to create a lot more complex and more customized layouts using it, so it's pretty cool. Then we've got the checkout process. Like I say, this is specific to the Pro version. The cart version is available in the free. And then you've got other. So this is where you'll have access to the wish list, customer reviews, FAQ accordion, and sales notifications. So it's more a case of if you want to customize the checkout process, you really want to go for the Pro version. if you want control over, or you want to use some pre-designed layouts, then I think you could probably get away with the free version to do a lot of that, unless there's a specific design you wanted out of the Pro version. Other than that, I think the Pro version gives you a lot of bang for no buck. So it's worth taking a look at, and maybe even checking out on a demo site like I'm doing right now. But let's just activate all of these. Let's save our settings, and then we can jump back to our test page, and we can take a look in there then at all these extra widgets we have. So come into our custom page, edit that with Elementor. Once that opens up Elementor, with all of my panels on the left-hand side open again, which, like I say, is kind of frustrating. We can close all those down for the umpteenth time. And okay, so now we have some more options. Shop curvy horizontal, shop accordion, shop table, shop booty. We drag and drop one of those in so we can take a quick look at it. You can see this is a different design. Whether these are the kind of designs that will be to your taste, that's something to be, questioned. I would say while this is quite a good product, some of the design aesthetics do leave a fair bit to be desired. So just bear that in mind. But there are ways of customizing a lot of these options. So that one, not really my cup of tea. Let's take a look. Let's try something like, let's take a look at the shop table. Because I believe this just basically puts everything into a table. And sometimes, let's just say you were selling a ton of products and you were selling them wholesale, and people didn't really need to see all the images. They were self-explanatory and you didn't need all that clutter. You could use this table, which I think is quite a good thing. And then you can obviously customize this to your heart's content using all the styling. We have the query options. You have data tables, so you can enable data tables if you want to. And then you can start filtering and searching and showing the number of rows and all those kinds of useful things. So, there's use cases for a lot of these different things. Whether they fit into something you or I would want is a different matter. Finally, let's just take a quick look at that shop accordion. Drop that inside there, and you can see, again, you get a simplified thing. So you may only have a couple of products. You may want to display it like this. This gives you a nice, simple way of doing just that without having to mess around with any of the accordions and shortcodes and so on as part of Elementor Pro. So that's quite cool. Okay, so let's take a look at what other things we have. Vertical and horizontal filters. Well, we've already seen the horizontal. Vertical is going to be the same kind of thing, just a vertical version of it. So that's quite cool. And if you have no other option for filtering, this can be quite a handy way of doing things. So you have those options there. If we take a look, like I say, we've got extra pricing tables. The single product, we had everything in the free version there. Related products, we have some extra options, and these kind of fall again into that same design aesthetic as you had with the first free options, which was the curvy and so on. Image gallery, we had all those options. Checkout is the new thing that we have, and like I say, I would recommend taking a look at the full video I've done on this. But if you wanted to create a custom checkout page, I do like the way this works. Let's just say we want to put in double columns, and from there we're going to drop in a couple of widgets. So we'll say we wanted to drop in something like, let me just scroll down to this a second, let me just find it. You check out your billing address on the left hand side. You can see that pulls that in. And then what we'll do is we'll do the same thing on the right hand side. Let's just close these down just to make my life a little easier to find everything. As you can see, it adds a lot of tabs in. We don't want. Okay, so we say we want the shipping address on the right hand side. And then we can come down underneath and we might say we'll add another section. This could be a single section, and from there we're going to add in something else. I will find them at some point. So you could put in your payment methods, for example, and drop that in there. So we can build this up to look any way we want. Within reason, we are still confined to what you can do as part of WooCommerce checkout process because it is a standardized affair. But this does give you each of those key components in its own dedicated widget, which you can then fine tune and configure. So you can easily come in now, choose this, configure things on there. You can change your billing fields, which I think is, again, one of those things that's very, very useful because a lot of the times this would take a separate plugin to allow you to remove fields or add extra fields in and have those sent over as part of the whole, sort of order process. This is super simple. You can come in, you can change any of that. You can adjust the class name. You could then, assign styling to it if you wanted to customize this through CSS. Or you can just use the styling options inside here, and we can do things like we could change the typography, you know, whether you're using a theme style or whether you want to do this on a widget basis. So we might say we wanted to use pop-ins on this, for example, and there's your heading's going to be changed. And we'll say we want that to be 400, and we'll uppercase it, and we'll adjust the sizing on there. You know, you have all those controls that you can get in and fine-tune to make this look the way that you want, which, you know, if you're customizing and you don't want everything to look typical WooCommerce-y, this is a good option for that. So I really do like this. For me personally, I would buy it just for this side of things, where I can style the whole cart checkout process and have control over that. It would be great to see, and don't get me wrong, I might be missing this, but it would be quite cool to see where you can customize this. You could also redirect to various different things, or you could do some upselling options or downselling or cross-selling, you know, so you could build up something quite unique from that aspect. Okay, so that's how you work with the checkout process. Like I said, the cart side of things is also quite simple. So if we just remove this a second and remove this as well, we'll drop in the cart, and I'll just show you. So you've got the cart overview, for example. Now obviously we've got nothing inside there, but this is going to give you that brief overview option. Or we can come in and we can say we want cart items. Drop that inside there, and this would give you the cart items layout. And again, you can control this, you can style it, you can change the text on there, all those kinds of things, the button sections. You know, there's a lot of options that allow you to really customize this. And again, I keep reiterating myself, if you're interested in finding out more about this, I've already covered it in detail on how to set things up and customize this completely. But that's kind of what I wanted to do, what I wanted to sort of cover briefly in Woolementor Free and the Pro version. From my point of view, there are some really strong reasons to grab yourself a copy of this. Even if you just try it with the free version and you wanted to create a more customized cart experience, that's quite cool. You can do that straight out of the box, even apply filters and so on. And you have some designs that you could use as the basis for a more customized shop. The Pro version, I would grab the Pro version. I already have grabbed the Pro version and paid for that out of my own pocket. And I think I would use this on sites after fully tested to make sure everything works flawlessly, specifically just for the checkout process. I like the fact I can customize that and make it look less WooCommerce-y. So that's Woolementor. That's the Pro and the free version. Let me know in the comment section if you've picked this up and what you think of it. Any good, any bad things. If you're thinking of picking it up, again, let me know. The link for this is in the description below. You can check that out. It is an affiliate link, but it costs you zero cost to purchase it through that link. But it does help support me moving forward and helps me keep on buying plugins like this so I can test them out and bring, you know, sort of first impressions and stuff like that to you guys. As always, my name has been Paul C. This has been WPTuts, and until next time, take care.